on Iran, there are a number of people, as you know, who argue that the president and you were too slow to condemn what seems to have been fraud in the elections, too slow to offer support to people on the ground, because you wanted to preserve the option of negotiating with Iran. Can you really negotiate with Iran at this point? I understand in general one negotiates with all kinds of regimes, but practically speaking, right now, with Ahmadinejad having been inaugurated in a very disputed atmosphere, won't you be legitimizing him if you negotiate with him?
We did not want to get between the legitimate protests and demonstrations of the Iranian people and the leadership. And we knew that if we stepped in too soon, too hard, the attention might very well shift, and the leadership would try to use us to unify the country against the protesters. And it was a hard judgment call, but I think we, in retrospect, handled it pretty well. Now, behind the scenes, we were doing a lot. As you know, one of our young people in the State Department got Twitter to, keep going, despite the fact that they had planned for a technical shutdown. So we were doing a lot to really empower the protesters without getting in the way. And we're continuing to speak out and support the opposition. On the question of engagement, that has been the president's policy. We have made it clear. We have communicated in a number of ways to the Iranian leadership. But we are under no illusions. We were under no illusions before their elections that we can get the kind of engagement we're seeking. The president has also said, look, we need to take stock of this in September. If there is a response, it needs to be on a fast track. We're not going to keep the window open forever. But we're not just sitting here waiting for somebody in Iran to say, well, let's talk. We are working with our allies to make the case that we need to have prepared a very robust set of sanctions that we can get the international community to sign off on, the way we did with North Korea. We're also, though, looking at an incentive package. We've got to be able to say to the Iranians, well, here's what's in it for you if you get back into the good graces of the international community on your nuclear program, you forswear nuclear weapons, you take appropriate safeguards regarding any kind of civil nuclear program.
I have to ask you a question that is of personal interest. A Newsweek reporter, Maziar Bahari, has been arrested and is now going through what can only be called a kind of Stalinist show trial. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I am just appalled at the treatment that Mr. Bahari and others are receiving. It is a show trial, there's no doubt about it, and it has caught up journalists and clerics and former elected officials and even people in the current, what was the government before the elections. And it is a sign of weakness. It demonstrates, I think, better than any of us could ever say, that this Iranian leadership is afraid of their own people and afraid of the truth and the facts coming out. We've expressed our concern about Mr. Bahari's confinement and now the trial. As you know, he's a Canadian, and we have certainly told the government of Canada that we would be willing to do whatever is appropriate. They have thanked us for that, thanked us for our concern. They believe that they should take the lead on that, and we're supporting them.